The trial for the man who attempted to assassinate President Trump wraps as the case against the suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination is just beginning to take shape. Let's go to former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Neama Rahmani. It's great to see you again. So before we get into all of that, let's just start with the Dallas ICE facility shooting today. A lot of late developments. Leaning on your experience as a former federal prosecutor, what would you be doing right now to uncover what happened and who else may be involved? Authorities came out saying that this is being investigated as an act of targeted violence.
No question, Didi. And another sad day in the United States, another day of more political violence. And we are seeing copycat violence. Apparently, this alleged shooter, who's now killed because of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, did inscribe anti-ICE messages on the shell casings. Obviously, we saw that with Luigi Mangione, Tyler Robinson in the Charlie Kirk case. So this is another act of political violence. Now, we don't know if he acted alone. If he did, as far as the legal case is concerned, that's really the end of it. You can't prosecute a dead person, but certainly if anyone helped him, there's co-conspirators, there's accessories, there's other principles, they can and should be prosecuted with terrorism, because it's pretty clear that this was a specific hit on ICE and DHS facilities.
And this coming just a day after we learned of the verdict in the Ryan Routh, very bizarre case, I'd say. He is facing life in prison. Do you see any scenario where he appeals his conviction?
I don't think so, Didi. I mean, here's someone, like you said, very bizarre, who chose to represent himself. And really, it was a foregone conclusion. I mean, some of the arguments that he was making in trial really had no legal merit. So this is an attempted murder, an attempted assassination of a presidential candidate. And he was arguing that because he didn't pull the trigger, that was an attempt. Well, the law is pretty clear. He was plotting and planning this for weeks. He had burner phones. He got the ammunition. He was stalking now President Trump. So that's more than enough when it comes to a substantial step for murder. And then, of course, I thought the guilt was a foregone conclusion. The jurors agreed. They returned a verdict in 2 hours. But Routh apparently was pretty surprised. He tried to commit suicide with a pen, a courtroom pen. He stabbed it into his neck. So certainly, someone that has a lot of issues there.
A lot of shocking moments in the courtroom, and that carried out outside of the courtroom. Before I let you go, Tyler Robinson is facing charges in Charlie Kirk's assassination. He is reportedly in a special housing unit. What does that suggest about his state? And do you think the defense is trying to maybe set up some sort of appeal to avoid the death penalty?
Didi, yeah, we call it the SHU, the special housing unit, when someone is a danger to themselves and others. And he reportedly also threatened to commit suicide rather than turn himself in. So I think what the defense is going to do in this particular case is try to argue some sort of mitigation to save his life. There's plenty of evidence that he was the killer. Again, his DNA on the rifle and the towel. Obviously, we've all seen the surveillance videos and the videos of the assassination itself, one of the most disturbing I've ever seen. There's admissions on Discord, confessions to family members. So Tyler Robinson is the guy. The only question is he going to spend the rest of his life in Utah State Prison, or is he going to get the death penalty? So I think the defense is going to lean into that mitigation to try to save his life, Didi. That's really all they got.
A lot of questions about that, and he's reportedly back in court on Monday. Neama Rahmani, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the National News Desk.
Of course, Didi, talk soon.